to meet sometime. Fire kissed rain, it hit in the flame, and we had to meet sometime. It was life on the line by pure design, and we had to meet sometime. Take me down with you. Place me in your field. Place your hands on my soul. Place your hands on my soul. Chords shine in dreams of the mind, and we had to meet sometime. Words on a page, so perfectly phrased, and we had to meet sometime. History was made when our song was played, and we had to meet sometime. Take me down with you. Place me in your field. Place your hands on my soul. Place your hands on my soul.
Welcome to Big Blend Radio. Lisa Smith, co-host and co-publisher of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. You just heard We Had to Meet, the very first track from the new and fourth solo album by Milwaukee singer-songwriter Peggy James. It's called Nothing in Between. It's out now through Happy-Growl-Records. You can get it on iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby, and you can also keep up with Peggy on Facebook. Just go to Peggy James Musician. And excited to have Peggy here with us today. Welcome, Peggy. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm fine. Thank you.
Hey, it's great to have you here. It is an awesome album. I feel like I'm on this amazing journey, very intimate, personal, dreamy, but different. Through like every song is so, a different vibe. But it to me, there's a theme of a relationship. If I got that part right, for me, it feels that way. Anyway.
Oh, yeah, probably different ones, different relationships. And some are.
There's a lot of them.
No, some are. They're fiction. They're not. They're not really. I always exaggerate in my songs, so I might take like one little snippet of a thing and then build it into a whole story. But it's some. A lot of them are based on my own experience.
Yeah, to me, that's why it's very intimate. And like even, when playing the very first song, We Had to Meet, it's got a dreamy quality, to it. And I just, for some reason, I feel like the album was recorded in the woods, like in a nice cabin. Like, I don't know, just seems to have that kind of nature magic in there. Where did you record it?
Actually, we recorded it in a couple studios, and so that's kind of the amazing thing, that it all fits together so well. Sometimes if you do a song in another room or vibe, it doesn't come out all the same, but this happened to come together like that, and that's one of the good features about the album. It doesn't sound like it was recorded in different places.
No,
but
the
majority of it is the majority of it was Happy Growl Studio, Happy Growl. It's called Happy Growl because our RCA dog is a pit bull, so she's always at the recording sessions, and she growls sometimes if she's really, really happy. But if you didn't know her, you'd probably be pretty intimidated by her growl.
Funny. That's funny. Where's the studio?
It's in the studio on the lake. It's really a beautiful view that we have, and it's very inspiring to record here.
That's exactly what I was feeling. I just was like, this has got that magical vibe to it. It's like the forest lake kind of thing, and I don't know. To me, I feel like it's like a soundtrack to a movie. Don't you think it should be in a movie? I think so. Mm-hmm.
Well, one of them we thought was kind of like a James Bond song. It's called
Lover.
Yeah, it's kind of got that James Bond feel to it. So who knows? That would be one of my bucket lists, to have a song in a movie.
You go that. You've also got X-Files, and that's cool because you guys threw some cool, spacey things. You never know what's in there. It's classified. Classified sounds. That's going to have been fun to record. And put that
it was really fun, and I was a big fan of the TV show X-Files, and my whole family would come together, and we'd sit on this one big couch, and it was kind of like the beginning of The Simpsons, where we all pile on the couch to see X-Files. It was a weekly event,
So you're based in Milwaukee, but I heard that you also spent some time out here in the Southwest. We're based here in Tucson, Arizona, and you definitely have some of that vibe in there. You got a little rockabilly too. It's such a cool, American album. Just some of the American sounds. Yeah, some reggae in there too. Got to put that in there. But tell us about where you're from. Is it were you born and raised in Milwaukee, or
yes, I was
out here in the Southwest?
I was born and raised in Milwaukee, but when I was 10, my dad moved to Phoenix, and that's where we spent most of our time in Phoenix. And then later on, I lived for a while in Northern California.
Nice.
Spent some time in Taos, so I really love the West, and I love Arizona, California, Colorado, the whole New Mexico, and I always have to go back there at least once a year to my roots, But then we ended up coming back to Milwaukee, and this is my home now.
Nice. We haven't been up there yet, but we're on this quest to visit every national park unit in the country and in our other areas that we have them. We have parks out in USA territories like Guam and things, so we're going to go everywhere in this country, so can't wait to get up to your area either.
On vacation, I like to go to a national park more than anything. That's always such a inspiring thing to know that our country has those kind of parks where you can just get lost in nature.
Do you get inspired by nature? Do you take a notepad with you and write songs as you're out in a park or in different places like that, or how does that happen?
No, I don't really like to do that. I like to just take it all in, and then usually when I get back, I have a couple songs. One time we were on a vacation and we were following everywhere where Calamity Jane went, and it was just kind of like we're in this really surreal thing because everywhere, we didn't purposely do this, but we ended up where Calamity Jane was, and then we were at this one bar out in the middle of nowhere, and this woman comes in dressed like Calamity Jane. She was a look-alike, but she was tough, man. She was this tough woman. And then we picked up a book about her, and the whole thing, I came back and I wrote a song about her. So, you know, I like to take it all in and then chew it later, yeah.
You know, we used to live out in San Diego in the mountains, and we went through like a year and a half of fires, like really some major wildfires. We evacuated like 7 times. It was crazy, and the last one was like it, and it wasn't just for our area. Like it was like Southern California was on fire, and so people were evacuating everywhere, and there's certain roads you couldn't take, and we had animals, and so there was like a big troop of us ended up in southern Arizona and Sierra Vista because the friends had family and everything, and we Nancy and I ended up in Tombstone and at Big Nose Kate's saloon, and everybody it was Halloween. Everybody was dressed up. So you had, Big Nose Kate, you had everybody all dressed up. And then at that point, we almost moved there because we were told that our house had burned down, and it hadn't. But the whole bar got together and actually found us a place to rent and everything. So we were ready to move, and we just sat there drinking Bloody Marys all day long, going, okay, we could live in Tombstone. Why not? That's fun. But I know what you mean about those characters, because we got all stuck on, Big Nose Kate and her story, because she's cool. She did, just those characters, those women that, did things, like just went out and you just, I love those old stories, like,
I know.
Especially the women of the West, man. Yeah,
but there's always something about one character that you can identify with. Yeah, that's some kind of like that in certain ways, not everything, but sometimes. Yeah.
It's funny because when there's like Women's History Week and everything, right, or Women's History Month in March, everyone's doing these women's stories, but you never get to hear about the rebels either, the rebel women, like Pearl Hart. And it's like, oh, no, we can only tell the stories of the women that did the good, proper stuff. I'm like, no, these women were industrious. They had business brains. They did cool stuff, even though, it was naughty. Right. But, that's neat how that kind of comes through, write a song about her. So you go and you write it at home? Do you sit at a piano? Or do you write mostly on your guitar?
Just the guitar, yeah. I used to play piano when I was young. I think that's where my aunt was a piano teacher, and I think that's where my brain learned how melodies fit together and where you go next. It's just like in there. Because I took piano lessons for like 5 years, and I had to spend an hour a day on the piano. And as a little kid, that was really hard on me, but I think I got some benefit out of it. Then I never continued on with piano. So I write with my guitar, and I have a couple special guitars that I write with because I believe that they're song guitars. You could pick them up, and just about any time you could get a song if you're in the right space,
Yeah, I think it's important. Piano, they always say if you can master the piano, you can master any instrument, right? Going from one to the other, but there's something that is interesting with your rhythm, where it's almost like someone wrote it from the piano and the guitar perspective. I can't explain it. You know what I mean? It's like you can tell when someone's written something on guitar or piano, but you seem to have both. So it's an interesting blend how you've done that. Probably from your history of that.
Sure, I've never heard anybody say that, but that's cool to think about that. We happen to run into keys. Oh, we have a really good friend who is excellent. She's on the organ and the piano, and her name is Connie Grauer. I don't know if you've ever heard from her. She's in a two-piece band called Mrs. Fun, and we've known each other for years. So we just said if I write a song and my producer doesn't know quite what to do with it, we'll call Connie. And she's the one who added that Celtic feel to we had to meet. And I always heard that Celtic thing in there, and I even said to my producer, maybe we should have bagpipes on there. And he said, no, let's just call Connie in, So she did a great job on that song. And it's funny because now in Glasgow they're playing it on a playlist there.
See, it got a little bit of Into the Mystic, like Van Morrison's vibe. You know, it's like where you feel like you're on a boat. There's that dreamy part of it, I think, that I pick up in there, is that it just feels like you're swaying. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You just this beautiful sway to it, like you're rocking on a boat or something. You know, so that's a good vibe. I mean, that's the whole thing. I was listening to this, going, I feel like I'm like going through relationship stuff, you know, out in the woods. There's this romantic kind of intimate cabin, and you know, there's good and there's some like okay, you know, it's interesting. You know, I do want to touch on Lover, because I was like, no way, she's got like a James Bond thing going. We need to send that in. Come on,
really?
people.
You thought so too, huh?
Yeah, it's cool.
Wow.
Tell us about that.
Oh well, that. Boy, I don't know what to tell you about that. You know, it's funny because sometimes when I write a song, it just comes out all at once. And that's kind of the magical thing about the way I write. Sometimes I don't know where it comes from. You know, this song is just given to me. I know it sounds kind of corny, but I don't know. It's just that song just came out all at once. And where did it come from? Probably all different kinds of feelings, you know, mixed together. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Let's play it. Are you game to play it? I want people to hear
sure.
that difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish we could sit and play the whole album. We could just sit and talk about every single song on there, because it's cool. It's a really good album. No, I love it. It's one of those that you can listen to over and over again. Like Tapestry had that. Quality, has that quality still. I mean, it's one of those songs that you just going to keep playing and playing and playing, and it just, you know, has those different layers. So I love that, where it's just every time you're going to hear something a little bit differently or something new. And familiar at the same time, because it also has a familiar vibe. That's the other part of it. Very warm sound that you have. Maybe that's why I'm thinking we're in the woods in a cabin.
That's nice. That's sometimes I'm overlooking Lake Michigan, and it's a beautiful place to overlook, you know.
Yeah.
Lots of wildlife, trees.
Yeah, and the rhythm of the water. Maybe that's also part of how that flows through, because this whole album just flows so beautifully, but it has these different styles in there. So it's neat. It's neat. Everybody, here it is. We're going to play Lover so you can get some James Bond grooving on.
Hard as I try, I cannot erase you.
You're listening to Big Blend Radio, and you just heard Lover. It is on the fourth album, solo studio album, called Nothing in Between, out now. It is by Peggy James, and it's out now through Happy-Growl-Records. You can't beat that name, or the dog. That sounds cool. You got to have a dog when you record. They keep you all, calm and normal, right? Especially if they growl and smile at the same time. But everyone, go get this album. It is really delicious. It's got all the flavors in the world, but it's like it's a feast. It's a feast for the senses. It's awesome. And, again, it's out on iTunes, Amazon, and CD Baby, and you can keep up with Peggy on Facebook. Just go to Peggy James Musician. So if you were going to go on the road and pick 2 or 3 of your favorite musicians in the world or songwriters to go with you, where would you want to go, and who would you want to take with you to play this album?
Well, that's something that we're going to have to decide, but I definitely would want Connie Grauer, the keyboard player. We have 2 drummers we work with, Kim Zick and Vic Spann, and so they've kind of, some of them have done different tracks on the album. They're both great drummers, and we have a couple bass players that we work with too that are really good. So I'm not to that point yet where we've decided to go on the road with this album, but it's something we're considering right now. So
come out here, man. Come out here to Tucson. We'd love it out here. It's a good fit for out here. It really is. So I hope you do some touring. Do you often, when you do go out and perform, do you do just a solo show with you and your guitar, or do you normally bring your musician friends in with you?
Normally we do a duo. Jim-E-Annelli plays lead, and I do the lead singing and guitar. So we're doing a live radio show August 11th here in Milwaukee in their studio. So we'll be playing just the 2 of us. Some of these songs are very hard to bring down to acoustic level, as you can see with Lover.
Yeah, right. So that's what I was wondering. Yeah.
But we can do it. We have done it, and it still sounds good. So it's kind of like taking you back to where it all began, was just me playing my guitar and Jim accompanying me. So, sometimes it's good to hear an artist do it that way, because you can hear the bare bones of the song, Yeah.
That some of my favorite albums are like the live cuts, of the recording process, and hearing how the whole song was, you go back to when they released that with the Beatles, and like the old school Fleetwood Mac. It's like you just hear them putting the pieces together. It's like, man, no, let's do the piano this way, and I'm like, oh, that is so cool.
I know.
So I think it's great to have it dialed down. So is Jim-E-Annelli? He's the producer too for the album.
He produced it, mixed it, and plays a lot of different parts. He can play just about anything,
Nice. Sounds like it. Just listening to everything. And so now, I know you were playing piano and you go to guitar. Let's talk about the words, because you are like a poet and a storyteller. I think that's really one of the top qualities that you have is the words. So is that something you've done? Always written your own music? What got you started with that part of it?
Yes, I have always done original music. I have done a few covers here and there, but I really always felt like, I really want to do my own songs, Why do a cover? Someone else can do it better than, you know what I mean? And I just love doing original music and getting my songs out there. So when I was 13, my dad bought me my first guitar, and he was a songwriter. He was, would write songs for the church he was in and stuff, and write a song to my brother in the Army. And so I kind of grew up thinking that, it's natural just to write a song. So that just came out of me. But really, when I was 13, I didn't know how to play guitar too well, so I did start writing poetry. And that's what I used to do as a teenager. Just have a bunch of poems that I wrote, and then later I put them to music.
Because your words, "Fallen Snow," is one of my favorites on the lyric side too. Tell us about that song. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, it actually goes back to meeting someone and having that first. I can still picture this park we went to. It was the most beautiful snowfall I've ever seen. It was these huge flakes, and we were kind of first dating then, and it was a beautiful night. I had my white German Shepherd with me in the snow, and there were like these
There's
little
another
icicles.
dog here. Okay, this is a dog album.
There's always a dog involved here. And there were like these little icicles hanging from the tree, like sparkling like diamonds, and it was just such a magical night. Very beautiful. And so I came home and I wrote that song about walking, come walk with me in the fallen snow, and it was a beautiful night. Now it's recorded, so I documented it.
No, it's for the record. Here it is. Now, Ghost is another one that you're very, very intimate. I feel like it's like a slow dance with someone, just very, very tender.
Right, and it's a waltz. It's a waltz. I tend to write waltzes a lot. I don't know why.
I noticed. It's like that. I think that's where's that kind of balance where everything's it sways, but in this graceful, I don't know, very calming. That's why I said it's very intimate, but there's like a sway to your music where that's that in between piano guitar thing. It's hard for me to explain that, but there is like this sway, and it's Ghost. It feels like it's just really intimate to me, and like there's that little sway in there where you're close with someone.
Yeah, it's about being really close friends and lovers, and then I find it sad, it's like in divorces too, where you've been so close and you've had such a good relationship, and then all of a sudden there's supposed to be nothing, And I always believe that friendship, there's you can keep that friendship because you've been so close, so there shouldn't be the bad.
Yeah. It's true because you were attracted to each other for some reason in the beginning, right? And I always think that when we're in that part of the relationship, you have to go back and say, okay, why did I like you in the first place? We were talking about this yesterday evening because we were with your album and everything. And I'm like, we were kind of discussing, Nancy and I are having, it's our wine time chat and digging up, the old. I was going to say digging up the dirt on past love, but but we were talking about like, well, why this person, why that person, and I was like, well, I went to this person, and it was misplaced love because I still had so much love coming out of me from the previous relationship, and we had to part ways over nothing other than our choices in life, you know what I mean? Just that there was a lot of true love, and I don't want to marry his family, so anyway, but there's this love that you're it's like you're still you can't really stop love from being there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I gave it to other people.
Right, and so it's that feeling of. I don't believe that feeling should exist where you're just so uncomfortable to be around that person after you've been that close to them,
Yeah. Unless unless it's a bad thing. I mean, if it's something really, bad, then get out of it completely. Yeah. That's not a friend. But there's that friendship because that's a relationship part, It must have been interesting for you with these songs. Were they all written together? Did you think I'm going to do this as like, the relationship theme? Or is this stuff that you've, songs that you've written throughout, throughout your musical career, and you go, okay, I'm going to put this together?
I didn't think at all about putting them in one album. We decided which songs that were going to be on the album, but I always write. It seems like I always write about relationships. To me, there's a lot of good material in relationships, and I just. I like to write about that. So if you ever looked at my other albums, you'd probably say the same thing. You know, my brother, he said, well, you know, there always seems to be this underlying thing of relationships that have gone bad or something. I said, no, it's not all about relationships gone bad. It's about the relationship themselves and where they take you in time and in the rest of your life, you know.
Yeah.
So
that's our fabric. That's our, you know, connectivity between everybody, you know.
Right.
That's what makes the world go around, you know. It's we're all connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're going to, you know, go through those, you know, stories, and it becomes part of your stories of life, you know.
Well,
and
it makes you who you are, you know.
Yeah.
It makes
Do you ever write about other people's relationships?
Yes. In fact,
cool.
You know that song "In One Ear and Out the Other"?
Yeah,
that
I love
song,
that. That
came when my mom passed away. I found her diary about my dad.
Oh, wow.
And she kept underlining, he never listens to me. You know, he never listens to me. I mean, that was the theme of every page.
That's
so
funny.
I thought, oh, this is interesting to write a song about somebody you're with that just never listens. And, you know, they were married for, 60 years? A long time. And, you know, they'd have their arguments and stuff, but they loved each other. And one of the things was my dad never listened, so that had to become a song.
That's funny, because even when I saw the title of it, I was like, that's funny. And what I find interesting about that is that it's got that bluegrass vibe, and it's got the fiddle, which as soon as you get there, there's that, the rhythm is like in and out. You know what I mean? It's like, it is exactly that, in one ear and out the other, and then it repeats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. That connection with that. I love that. That is a fun song. You know, it's like, it's fun, but it's like, okay, are you angry, or, you know, where are you on that?
I think it's humorous. I think it's really humorous.
Yeah, that's the thing it is too. Yeah.
The same with the reggae song, you know.
The Muscle Man?
Yeah, that's funny
fun.
song.
That should be played. You need to go play that at Venice Beach in L.A. I think you should play it out there.
We used to go to Key West a lot, you know. That was one of our favorite spots to go to Key West, and we could just picture that, you know, you're by the pool side and you're listening to this song. But it kind of came from that area because you can take all these boats, you know, and the captain's always this big muscle tan guy, and you know, I just kind of put all of it together. And one day, my husband was mixing this protein in his protein milk, you know, and so I thought, oh, that's what I'm gonna put in my song. He drank his muscle milk protein.
There you go. See, that's it. Now, the one song too, "Gotta Have a Love," to me has got like that cool Johnny Cash vibe in there. There's that, you know, that rockabilly side, and it's. I feel like, okay, there's dirt on the floor. There's wooden floors with dirt on the floor, and I can't explain that, but it's like, it should be one of those places like a roadhouse. It should be played in a roadhouse with, you know, where people eat the peanuts and throw their shells around.
Exactly.
Or throw them at people. Yeah, we've been in trouble for that.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
We do that acoustically together too, and that works out pretty good that way. Yeah.
I like that. And the other, "I Wish You Well," I love that as a closing of it, because at the end, that's it. I wish you well. Like you always talk about,
right.
You were saying that, you know, regardless, I wish you well. You know what I mean?
That's right. I said to Jim, I said that we got to have that as the last song. Yeah, it's got to be the last one on the album. And that one I wrote when we took a trip to San Francisco, and then we drove the coast up north. Oh, was that beautiful? I love California too. And but then I decided to write it like, if somebody has to leave you, and you go, that's where I would go. I'd go to Highway 1. You know? Yeah,
you got to get the cobwebs out, like get it. Yeah, just when you. There's something about that, because even, you know, if you're going to San Francisco, like you do have to put a flower in your hair, and then you just got to drive. I love that route, man. I love it, and go out towards Carmel, and go see the otters. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm into that. That's
Beautiful.
one of my favorite routes in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that big bridge at Big Sur though. That's not a thing for me. That's some other people need to drive over that. I'm not. No, not happening. Not happening.
Right.
Oh man. Well, Peggy, it has been such a pleasure having you on the show, and we're going to close. Can we close with "Gotta Have a Love"? I want people to hear that vibe. And
yeah.
Cool.
That'd be
We got to
great.
do that.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Oh, yeah, anytime. Man, come on the show anytime. It's been such a pleasure, and we love your album. Again, everyone, it's called Nothing in Between. It's by Peggy James from Happy-Growl-Records. And, of course, you can get on iTunes, Amazon, CD Baby, and keep up with Peggy at Peggy James Musician on Facebook. We do want to give a shout-out to our sponsor for today's episode, which makes sense for you, Peggy. This is the National Parks Arts Foundation. They're an incredible organization. In fact, what they do is they create artist and residency programs within national parks. So if you're an artist or a musician, a songwriter, a poet, a writer, a filmmaker, you can apply if you go to nationalparksartsfoundation.org for one of their residencies in a park across anywhere around the country. Pretty much they have them at Hawaii volcanoes, believe it or not. They have them at the Dry Tortugas. You'll know about that, Peggy.
Oh, yeah.
Out in Florida.
I've been there.
They have them up in New Mexico. If you were going to do a residency for a month, where would you want to go? What national park?
Wow. It's a good question. Probably the Black Hills.
Ooh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
by
there's
Calamity
Western
Jane
women.
area.
Yeah. Did you watch Deadwood? You've got to watch Deadwood if you haven't.
I did.
I love that. That was crazy. That was some crazy. There was some crazy foulness in there too, but it was a really good series. Check that out, people. But
I know.
Everyone, again, nationalparksartsfoundation.org. I encourage you to go on their website and check out the residencies, but sign up for their newsletter because they get the grants, and then the opportunity comes and goes so fast that you want to know about it as soon as they hit. And, of course, Big Blend Radio airs Sunday through Friday. Our schedule is up on bigblendradio.com. You can go there. You can listen as shows go live or listen later on demand. All the links for all the different podcast outlets are there, excuse me. Again, we're going to play Gotta Have a Love, and thanks so much, Peggy.
Thank you.
Take care. Here it is.